Yes, hello. Start off me, Dek Tata. Yeah, start off me to uh, give a speech represent of the department. Ya, sudah mulai ya saya ya. Ya, oke. Ya, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sehat. Good morning to Dr. Hussein Ali. Halo dokter. Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa
Hmm.
barakatuh. I
Yeah,
hope you are listening me.
yeah. Yes, your voice is good. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay. Sorry
yeah.
for yeah. So how is everything? We call it Salamat Pagi or Salamat
So
Malam.
now you know that greeting of Indonesia people.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much for your coming, though. Yeah, yeah. I want to maybe speech of me as a head of the Department of Epidemiology and Tropical Disease. Yeah, in Indonesia we are at 1 p.m. So for all my students, yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, and then also Assalamualaikum, good morning, distinguished speaker, Dr. Hussein Ali. He has affiliation at Directorate of Research, Peshawar, Pakistan. Yeah, and then respected a moderator in this event, Ms. Miftahud Rohimah, Bachelor of Public Health and Master of Epidemiology. And then the other lecturers of Faculty of Public Health, Universitas Diponegoro, maybe already joined in this event. And then also my dearest students, especially student of entomology. They are at sixth semester of the program, bachelor program of public health. Yeah, yeah, Alhamdulillah, we uh, can join. Yeah, healthy, all of the people healthy, and then have spirit to join with the experts and then discuss about the insect ecology, mosquito and other vectors. Yeah, we have this program we call of Undip Global Classroom UGC that faculty invite some guest lecture from overseas, yeah, to share the science and then also the other issue, yeah, according of the expert giving thoughts. Yeah, I'm behalf of a Department of Entomology and Tropical Disease, Faculty of Public Health. Yeah, I would like to express our science appreciation to our distinguished speaker for accepting our invitation and sharing his valuable knowledge and also the experience with us today. Uh, we will discuss about the insect ecology, vector biology that correlate with the disease. In this case, a vector-borne disease. Yeah, because we know that the cases of vector-borne disease is increasing year per year. Yeah, we know that. Yeah, dengue and then yeah, malaria with the new species of Plasmodium. We call Plasmodium knowlensi. Yeah, but reported from the health ministry, still carry out in the North Kalimantan Island. Mosquito and other factors continue to pose major public health challenges worldwide, particularly in tropical countries. Therefore, strengthening scientific knowledge and interdisciplinary collaboration in this field is very important for developing effective prevention and also how to control a strategy that we can set in the health program in every country. We believe that today lectures we will broaden our academic perspective, enrich our scientific understanding, and inspire further research and collaboration in the field of entomology, epidemiology, and public health field. We also hope that this activity will strengthen academic relations between institutions and encourage future international collaboration in education and research. Yeah, I hope Dr. Yeah, Hussein, that we not stop collaborate in the what is it, the program, education program like this, but we can develop with the other program like together in publishing of article. Maybe we can also what is it, the mobility of the staff of our faculty, my faculty, and also of the student. Yeah, yeah, I hope my student can visit your country, and then yeah, together with you to yeah share your as an expert and also your field yeah to my student. Finally, I encourage all participants to actively participate in discussion and make the most of the valuable opportunity. Yeah, please, my student, you can discuss further with Dr. Ali about the vector and then correlate with the disease, vector-borne disease. Yeah, because yeah, this is the what is it? The important what is it? Meeting, yeah, scientific meeting. Dr. Ali, maybe you should know that the topic what is it under the courses of vector ecology. Yeah, we have the name of course. Yeah, in major my entomology majoring in this field. Yeah, um, study much in entomology vector reservoir. Yeah, include of the rat like that. Yeah, because the rat or rodents containing parasites, yeah, in there, and then uh, can be yeah vector transmitting the disease to the human. Yeah, we in our in my city in Semarang, leptospira, and then new cases such as rickettsia we can find in area endemic area in Semarang city. Yeah, okay, that is my uh, speak, and then thank you. Finally, thank you, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yeah, thank you very much to the expert, Dr. Ali, and also moderator, all of my student. Yeah, time, yeah, back to the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Martini, for the welcoming speech. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Miftah Rahima, and it is my pleasure to serve as the moderator for today's session. Before we produce the main lecture, we would like to have our first photo session. Dear all participants, please turn on your cameras. Yeah. All the students, please turn on the camera.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Should I start?
Photo session
I'm
is
sorry,
already done. Photo session, maybe
no,
you can count. Yeah, 1, 2,
yes,
3 to get a picture.
Okay.
okay. Okay, I can count 1, 2, 3. Okay. At the
Other
second part,
pose.
1,
Other pose.
yeah, other plus. Maybe like this, yes. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, thank you very
Okay,
much,
thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you very much, Ibu Martini. Okay, dear student, lecturer, all participants, we will proceed the main session today's lecture. Before introduction, our distinguished speaker, allow me to briefly highlight the importance of this session. Before we begin the lecture, for today's session, the speaker will deliver the presentation, followed by a discussion and question and answer session. After the discussion, we will continue with the second photo session after the presentation of the speaker and officially closing. During the presentation, all participants are kindly requested to keep their microphone mute to avoid background noise, and participants may write question in the Zoom chat box during the presentation. And later, during the discussion session, participants may ask questions directly by using the raise hand and feature. When asking a question, please mention your name and affiliation, then deliver your question briefly and clearly. We also kindly remind all participants to stay until the end of the session, as we will have a second photo session and official closing after the discussion. Now it is a great honor for to welcome our distinguished speaker, Dr. Hussein Ali. Please, operator,
Okay.
prepare the CV.
Can you hear
Yeah,
my voice? My voice is clear?
yeah. Before that,
Okay.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Will introduce your CV.
Okay. Let me share my screen.
Oh, okay. My committee will share screen your CV, Doctor.
Okay. You committee. Okay. 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 No problem.
Okay. Okay, Dr. Hussein Ali is an entomologist from Pakistan and currently serves as a new research officer in entomology and the Agriculture Research Institute Tanah Peshawar. He has also served as a research and teaching assistant in entomology at King Saud University, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. He obtained his PhD in agriculture, specializing in entomology from King Saudi University in 2017. He also completed his MSc and BSc in agriculture entomology from the University of Agriculture, Peshawar, Pakistan. Dr. Hussein Ali has extensive experience in entomology research, teaching, student supervision, training, and consultation. His academic work includes studies on honeybees, insect behavior, pollination, insect biodiversity, insect physiology, and pest and vector-related topics. He has published numerous journal articles and has participated in various trainings, workshops, and international conferences, including activities related to vector control, tropical medicine, and malaria, insect-plant interaction, pest risk analysis, and integrated pest prevention and control pests. Today, Dr. Hussein Ali will share with us his expertise on insect ecology, mosquitoes, and other factors. Dear student, lecturer, and participants, please join me warmly welcoming Dr. Hussein Ali. Before we start the lecture, Dr. Hussein Ali, may I ask you briefly, how are you today?
Uh, Assalamu alaikum. Your voice is
Waalaikumsalam
a
warahmatullahi
little
wabarakatuh.
slow. Your voice, I can hear you properly. Uh,
Oh, maybe there is is it okay? I will open my headset. Is it okay? Hello, hello. Is it okay, doctor?
No, it's very slow. The Professor Martini
Yeah.
voice was very clear, but your voice is still very slow.
And this time, is it
Yes,
okay?
it's okay now. It's okay now. It's okay.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry for the
Thank you so
mistake.
much. Thank you so much. Sorry to disturb you, but I was not listening.
I'm so sorry. May I continue this
Yes,
lecture?
yes.
Before that,
Thank you so much.
Dr.
Thank you so much.
Hussein. Dr. Hussein, may I ask you briefly, how are you today?
Alhamdulillah, I'm very good, and I hope my students and the students of Dr. Martini they'll be very good.
Alhamdulillah, I hope you are doing well. We are very happy and excited to have you with us today. How do you feel about sharing this lecture with us, with our student and participant, Dr. Hussein Ali?
It's really a matter of pleasure for me, and I feel an honor because I have a lot of Indonesian colleagues, and we were students, we were colleagues in same college in King Saud University, and they are working at different university in Indonesia. So I have a lot of, and I have a very good experience with them in Indonesian food, and so I have very good relation with them from since 15 to 20 years with Indonesian people. I like them very much.
That's good. That's wonderful, Doctor. May I ask you, have you ever visited Indonesia or Semarang before?
I hope so that I'm planning to visit Indonesia maybe this year or maybe in the coming year. But I have been to Malaysia 3 times. Usually they invite me for some lectures. I have been to very close to Indonesia, but haven't visited Indonesia. So I have been to Sabah and Sarawak. It's very near to Indonesia because I think Indonesia also has a Sabah. So I have some colleagues from Sabah as well.
Yeah, you should. That's it. Wonderful, Doctor. We would be very happy to welcome you to Semarang in person someday. Thank you
Inshallah,
very much,
inshallah. I hope
Dr.
so.
Hussein. We are very excited to learn from you today. I mean, now without further ado, Dr. Hussein Ali, the screen is yours.
Okay, thank you so much. Should I share from my side or you will share from your side?
Go ahead, Mister. If you want to help, we
Okay,
will continue with
let me
committee. You want to share with
share
yourself
with
or
the yes.
okay?
Can you see the screen?
Yeah, is it clear?
Yeah. Okay, let me. It's clear.
Yeah,
You
is
can
it
see
clear?
this. Yeah. Okay. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Today we will talk about insect ecology, mosquitoes, and other vectors. My specialization in entomology, so mostly we will talk about the insects and the insect vectors. As Dr. Martini mentioned, some other vectors, but I will not mention that like rodents and other animals like mammals. So the presentation will consist of 4 units. So we will have 4 portions. One portion will be about insect ecology basics. Second will be mosquito. Third will be the disease vectors, and fourth will be the strategy, the control strategy, or the management strategy. So these will be the outlines or the presentation parts. So first we will start with the insect ecology. What is insect ecology? Mean the interaction, the basic definition, because they told me that most of the students are bachelor students, so I will give some small definitions and then we will go further. The study of interaction of insects with the environment is called insect ecology. For example, our interaction with the environment will be called human ecology. So the interaction of insect with their environment is called insect ecology. So if your interaction with the environment, so there will be two important factors. You will face two important factors. Will be biotic and other will be abiotic. The biotic factors will be the living organism, the predator, the enemy, and the other thing, and the abiotic factors will be the weather, the temperature, the rainfall, the everything. So the interaction will be with two things, with the abiotic and with biotic. So whether human are interacting, so the similar interaction, whether it will be biotic, whether it will be abiotic, and these two components or yeah, these two factors, they are greatly affecting the ecology, whether it's human ecology, whether it's animal ecology, or it's insect ecology. Usually, insects, we divide insect in two parts. For example, we call them harmful insect and useful insects. So the useful insects, they are pollinators like honeybees, some of the bumblebees, silkworms, and some we use for uh, predators like biological control agents. But some insects are very harmful, and among them, the mosquitoes, the um, we call it the larvae of different insects. They are feeding on fruits and vegetables. So the importance of insects in interaction, we divide them in three roles. We call them pollination, decomposition, and food chain roles. So insect help in pollination. It is considered that the cross-pollinated crops, like you see, they are transferring the pollen from the anther to the other stamen of the other plants, and this through this they are it is expected that 80% of the different crops, they are pollinated by the honeybees or other bees, the beneficial insects. It is considered that in USA that the almond industry is greatly, almond, citrus, and some of the fruit and vegetable industry is greatly dependent on pollination. Decomposition. Insects are very useful. They are doing the decomposition. They are using the garbage. They are transforming them. They are eating them. And the third role is their role in the food chain. Like, for example, the insect are feeding on different crops, and then those insects are eaten by other animals. Other animals are eaten by other, and there is a kind of system. We call them the food chains. So they have a big role in the food chain. So they have an important pillar. Like if we take example of the grasshopper or locust. So grasshopper feed on the uh, grass, greenery, or the crops, but it is again eaten either by small mouses or birds, and the birds are then eaten and they are decomposed, and there is a complete cycle. So they are important pillar of the ecosystem or the food chain. If we divide the insects, the insects can the habitat of insects. So the insect habitat can be divided into terrestrial, because they love to live on land sites. So simply you can call them the terrestrial insect. Mostly they are spending their time on land or dry area. We have beetle, we have termites, and we have ants, and they are living on the surface of the earth. Some insects, they prefer to be live in the water. So among them is water beetles and mosquitoes. Mosquitoes among them. The adult is usually on the in the air, or usually we call them aerial, or but the larval and the pupa, and they remain in the water. So we call them aquatic insects. Some other insect like mayflies. Some insects, they usually spend more of their time in air. So we call them aerial, or aerial insects. Like you can see butterflies, hornets, bees, and dragonflies. They remain in the air for long times, and they can travel in kilometers, because I will give you an example of grasshopper. The grasshopper can cross from one continent to another continent. The grasshopper to Pakistan is coming from Africa. So it is taking a lot of time to come from Africa to Pakistan. And usually we have studied that it usually cover 50 to 60 kilometers. So an insect is covering 50 or 60 kilometers, and they are transboundary pests and they are moving from one country to another country. So this is about the insect habitat. Now we will come to, as I mentioned, the factors they are affecting the insect ecology. So I mentioned about the abiotic factors and biotic factors. In abiotic factors, the temperature is very important. If the temperature is high or temperature is low, it will have impact on the insect behavior, insect feeding, insect reproduction, and a lot of things. The humidity is also very important. The moisture or humidity content in the air, and the light. If there is light, so there it usually in the favor of the insects. But if there is too much dark, so they usually the insect they don't prefer too much dark. And the biotic factors, we talk about the predators. Predators usually they prey on the size is better than bigger than the host. And parasites, the size of the host is bigger than the attacker or the what called invader. So in predator, the size of the host is small, but the enemy size is big. But in parasites, the host size is big and the enemy size is small. And there is competition. Like in human, there is competition for jobs. In animals, there is competition for food. So in insects, there is competition for survival. There is competition for reproduction. There is competition for food resources. There is competition. So these two mainly factors, they are greatly affecting the insect ecology. What, as we mentioned, the insect ecology, the interaction of the insect with the environment. Now we will come towards the insect ecology. Another important is the insect behavior and reproduction. There are insects, like in human beings, some people call it, I'm vegetarian, I don't like meat or other things. So in insect, there are different types, herbivory. Those insects they highly prefer the herbs, plants, and usually they don't prefer what we call it the feeding on other animals or other insects. So we call them herbivory or herbivorous insects. Mean the insects they are completely dependent on plants. There is predator, and in that predator, the one insect is feeding on another. So it's also have an important role in insect ecology. So like ladybug, praying mantis, licewing, so they are feeding on other insect and they use to take the protein for themselves. The parasites, there are some egg parasites, there are larval parasites. So parasite size is small, but they benefit in parasitism. One is got benefit and the other is got harmful. Like in trichogramma cards, the trichogramma adult, they lay eggs on the moths, but in the moth, eggs content and the egg food is taken by the trichogramma larvae and then they feed it. And there is another behavior, we call them mutualism. In mutualism, the both got benefit. So there are four types. We call it herbivory, predatory, parasite, and mutualism. In mutualism, it's kind of mutual, like ant and aphid. They have role, and they both are protecting. They are feeding, and they are protecting each other. So we call them mutualistic. In mutualism, they both are benefited. We have termites, and there are other examples. So in mutualism, so this is the behavior that why the insect will be herbivory, predator, parasites, and mutualism. When we call about the reproduction, so insects will have two types of reproduction. We call them complete holometabola. It's also called, so the life cycle will be complete, like egg, larva, pupa, and adult. There will be four stages. So we call them complete metamorphosis. and there will be incomplete metamorphosis in which there will be egg, nymph, and adult. So what is the difference between complete and incomplete? Incomplete, the structure of egg, larva, and pupa, that will be eachly different from each other. I mean, the egg structure will be different, the larval structure will be different, pupal and adult. But if we check about the incomplete, so egg structure is different, but nymph and adult will be almost similar, but the size will be little small. Insects, they have strategies like how to survive inside their environment, in the ecology, in the ecological or ecosystem. So they have developed some mechanism for their survivals. One is called a camouflage, and the other is called mimicry. The camouflage, this is an evolution strategy, and the insect use its color, shape, and behavior to become a kind of surroundings. Like you can see this picture, you will see the upper picture, green structure, it is just like the leaf. So that is camouflage. And the other is mimicry. Mimicry is just like you are copying somebody's, so it is a survival strategy. Most of the insects nowadays, they are mimicking another insects. They are dangerous, so it is not eaten by the enemy. So there is two strategy for the survival in the ecosystem. One is the camouflage system, that is from the genetic or evolutionary, and the other is the we call it the survival strategy, mimic. Insect mimicry, in this insect mimicry, and as you can call them a weak insect, they adopt the you can call it the shape or the color or the behavior of another insect to remain healthy inside the to remain survival, to get to live inside the environment, and to avoid its enemy. So this is the survival strategy of the enemies. Why? Now we will come that the insect ecology is greatly affected by many things. So number one, the most important thing is the climate change. The foraging behavior. What is foraging behavior? Foraging behavior is just like human go up early in the morning, and after eating the breakfast, they go outside for work, and then so foraging behavior of insect is that usually they leave the colony, their home, and they go outside. So this is called the foraging behavior. The searching for food. You can call them foraging. Is the behavior is the searching for food strategy. The second is the mating behavior or mating system or the reproduction. Third is the social behavior, mean like in human being. We have social systems. So the some of the insects, they have social system, and that is greatly affected by the uh, uh, these what we call it, the uh, climate change. And the other important thing is the communication. So the foraging is usually the insect go for food and search for other things. In mating, when they become adults, so the adult become important and they are mating. So for them, a kind of environment is required, a suitable environment. So if there is too much cold and too much high, so the reproduction will be disturbed. The egg reproduction, the egg development, that will be greatly affected. And when we talk about the social behavior, so just like in social insects like bees, ants, and termites, they are entirely connected with each other. They have different roles. Like some people have role of a nurse, some people have role of guard. We call them soldiers and guards. Some people they are foragers, they are bringing food, and some have the role of we call them the colony maintenance. So if there is climate change, there is too much hot and there is too much we call them cold. So the social the social behavior is greatly affected. They will not perform their duties like the behavior, they cannot get their food. And the other thing that the insect will not be able to bring food, their defense system will be disturbed. And the other thing, like the colony food system, the ventilation system, like we have ventilation system, for example, it is cold, so we on the the heater, and there is warm, so we on the air conditions. So the insect have social temperature regulation. So if there is a disturbance because of the climate change, so the whole social temperature regulation will be disturbed. They don't have the electricity, so usually with their behavior, they keep the colony warm, they keep the colony cold and warm. So this is called, you can then search on social temperature regulation. They have the insect, they have their systems, and that is important aspect for survival. Now the other system, the last one, is the communication. Usually we can communicate with the voice and with the different symbols, like I can call you doctor, and then you can listen me. So the insect, they don't they communicate with the pheromone. What are pheromone? These are the chemical signals, different pheromones, and different areas, like the mandibles, the body, upper body structure, some different so these pheromones, they are disturbed. The production of the pheromone, that is greatly disturbed. So the climate change is greatly affecting the insect interaction with the environment. So in these four systems, when these four systems are disturbed, so the interaction of the insect with the environment, that has been greatly affected, and the insect survival, like some of, as I mentioned, some of the insects are very beneficial for us. So their interaction has greatly affected. Now I will talk about, oh my God, I think, yeah, why why insect ecology is important in Indonesia, especially Indonesia. Why the study of insect ecology is important, and when we we'll talk about the Indonesia, because Indonesia has one of the richest biodiversity regions. That is one, because you have tropical island, you have tropical rainforest, you have islands, and you have so many islands, and they have different fauna. This the second thing is you have a lot of endemic insects, means the you are isolated. Some of the area are isolated from the world, and they don't have too much interaction. They don't have, you can call them too much border interaction with the other. So you have endemic species. And the third is there is a very strong link between insect agriculture and livelihoods. So in Indonesian culture, you will see a lot of palm production is there. There is rice production. There is other main fruits, vegetables, and Indonesia has so many good fruits. So, and the third is that Indonesia is just like Pakistan. It is among the country that will be highly affected by the climate change. So, insect ecology in Indonesia is important because of the four things, that they are isolated islands, they have very good environment, they are isolated, they have very good endemic species, and their agriculture is very vast, and the system is very versatile. And the other thing is that because of that, like I have heard that the in Jakarta, they are shifting the Jakarta from the capital to another. Am I right about that? Okay, so this was about our first. If you have any question or suggestion, or we can take in the end. What do you think? Can you hear me? Should we take the question now, or should we take at the end?
Yes, of course.
Okay, we will take the
Maybe
question at the end of
anyone will have a
the.
question from this section? Nah, there is a question
Okay, I
from
think
Mas
there is a
Surya, Doctor.
question.
Yeah, go
Yes,
ahead,
yes.
Mas Surya.
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity. So, wait. Okay, my name is Surya Negara. I'm a health entomology student. So, like on your presentation, state that the climate change can impact on insect ecology, such as foraging behavior and mating system, and so on. But the things that I'm wondering right now is about the factorial capacity. So, does the climate change can impact on the factorial capacity for insect that can distribute the disease, let's say like Anopheles mosquitoes? Because I think that in the presentation you not state about the ecology factor that ecology that can contribute to pathogen transmission. Is it clear my question, doctor?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. That's a very important question. He asked about that the climate change are the affecting the mating strategy. So will it impact the vector? Yes, definitely. And climate change is also favoring the vector transmission to another area. I mean, their host is increasing, their survival is increasing. So climate change is in favor of the vector. Like in Pakistan, we are studying the dengue spread. So the climate change is supporting them. Like, for example, if I call you that the spread was 5% last year, so if this there is a climate change, so this will be 1% more. So they are favoring, and I will talk about the insect vector and that the climate change has favored because they are increasing their host survival. I mean the vector survival, the vector reproduction, the vector host, and the you can call it the disease spread. So they are favoring the vector in a good way, but that is not good for us. So they have a positive impact on vector. That is a very good question. Thank you so much, Surya. Thank you. If anybody has another question, or okay, we will then shift to the second part. Should I go to the second part?
Of
Okay,
course, go ahead,
okay.
Doctor.
Thank you. The second is is our lecture is consists of four portions. So we just finished the insect ecology. Now we have mosquitoes, vector, and control strategy. So mosquitoes belong to as I think you all know about the insect orders. There is some people call it it's 28 orders, some people call it is 30 orders, some people call it 31. There is a big debate on insect order. So usually the order Diptera, it is considered as the most dangerous. It has mosquitoes, it has flies. So this considered as one of the most dangerous order in the insect. We call it in insects. And then they have a family. So you know about the Glycidae family. There's 3,700 known mosquito species globally. So usually, I don't know about the Indonesia, how much species we have, but in Pakistan, we have mostly almost 15 or 10 types of species we have. Why the mosquitoes are important? Mosquitoes are important because they are transmitting the diseases to human, and it is considered that it is one of the deadliest animals. If somebody asks you the most beneficial insect and the most organism or the most deadliest, so you can call them they both are insect. The most beneficial organism is honeybee. They are producing honey and pollination, but the most deadly organism is mosquitoes. They are killing more than millions of people, and they are infecting. They are I will in the presentation I will talk about they are economically, they are health financially, and you can call them the mentally they are stressing the human beings. So as I mentioned about the life cycle, they have two life cycle. One is complete life cycle, and the other is incomplete life cycle. So there is two life cycles: complete life cycle that have egg, larva, pupa, and adult, and the other is incomplete that is egg, nymph, and adult. So mosquitoes has complete larval cycles: egg, larva, pupa, and adult. Adult is usually, sometimes the people call it imago. Imago is called as adult. How much time the mosquito takes to complete its life cycle? So usually it takes 10 to 14 days. As mentioned by the Surya, there's a question that the climate is shortening the life cycle of the what we call it, the mosquitoes. For example, the highest, if there is cold or so that the life cycle will be longer, and if there is warm water and temperature, water availability, food, so the life cycle will be shortened. So egg, usually the egg in egg stage, it become in from 1 to 3 days. In larval it become from 4 to 14 days, and in people it become in, so it usually takes 10 to 14 days. But there are some important factor that is affecting the life cycle. It can be prolonged or it can be shortened. If and the factor is number one, the temperature. If the temperature is high or more temperature, so that will favor the development. Mean the development will be quickly. The water availability, if there is plenty of water availability, so the development will be very good and quickly. And the third is the food supply. If there is enough food for the larval, so the survival will be high and there will be good uh, adult emergence. For example, as I mentioned, that it takes 10 to 14 days uh, to develop. So when an adult, the adult emerged from the pupa, so the adult life that varies. It ranges from days to months. Usually, the male mosquito, their life is short, and it after mating, it become die. And the female mosquito has more life or longer life than the male mosquitoes. One thing is there is different in stars. Different in stars. You have seen first larval install, second larval, third, and fourth. So the shape after the after molting. Mean the duration between one instar and the second instar is called stadium, and the shape is called in stars. Okay, that is a kind of question some people can ask you. What is the duration? And the removing of the old skin is called molting. Molting, molting, molting. Okay, so you can then search on different. You can search in books, and you can. Okay, and now got the mosquito life cycle that it has 4 stages, 10 to 14 days, egg, this, and there is factor affecting. Now we will come towards the mosquitoes, male and female recognition. That is very important. So there are a number of characters that you can identify the mosquitoes, and there are 5, 6 characters that you can easily identify mosquito. Number one is the antennae. The male will have a kind of bushy antennae, mean bush. Like you can see here, the male, it has the bushy antennae, while the female will have plan and 10. This is the antennae of the female. It is 10. And the diet. Usually, the male mosquito, it will feed on nectar and on plants. It doesn't feed on human being. But the female mosquito, they will mostly feed on uh, what we call it human blood. They also feed, but not for all time, but mostly they feed on a human blood. And as we talk about the lifespan, so the male will have a shorter lifespan. It will be up to 7 days, 8 days, or 10 days after mating. and the only task is to mate. And the female will have 2 to 4 or more wings. So usually, you can see that the female mosquito has longer life than the male mosquitoes. And you can see the size. The size, you can see this. This is the male, and this is the side. You can see this is the female. So the male will be thinner and smaller and thinner in size, like you can see. But the female will be bulky, and the abdomen will be harder. And the other thing is the mouth parts. As I mentioned, that the diet is different. So similarly, the mouth part structure is also different. The mouth part they use for sipping the nectars, just like you can call it bladder. Like you can see the male, this is male, this is the mouth parts. So usually it is used for sipping the nectar. But if we check the female mouth parts, so it's a kind of needle. You can see this is the needle, proboscis, and there's a needle. So that is another difference between male and female mosquito difference. So we mentioned 5 difference: the antennae, diet, life size, and mouth parts. And as I mentioned, the most important is the lifespan. That lifespan is male will be hardly for 1 week, but female can longer for even months. Now, there is 112 genera of the mosquitoes. And genus, some people call it genus, some people call it genera. So the genera is and genera, then genus. Like if you talk about the scientific, so there will be genus and then species name. So there we have 112 genera, but among them the three are very important. Three are very important: the culex, the anoples, the aedes. The Culex has 700 to 800 species. Like you can see here, it has 700 to 800 species. The Anoples has 450 species, and the Aedes has almost 1,000 species. There is a kind of difference between you can call them, there is a difference in their body structure, in their landing, their resting position. So you can see this is the culex. You can see the abdomen structure. It is different from anoples and someone similar to Aedes. But you can see the spots, the white spots is triangular. But here, if you can see, it is like you can call it rectangular or square. Like, and this is the you can see the male mean antenna and mouth parts. Male, this is the male head. You can see this is the female. You can see the all three species. So the anoples is very different from culex and aedes. You can easily identify, but if there is culex and aedes, so the strips, there is straight strips, uh, and there is a kind of rectangular structures. If we look at the resting position, so the resting position of the culex, it is usually with the very good with the mean horizontal with the wings. Like you can see the abdomen, this is called, we call them abdomen. The abdomen is very near to the wings. But if you see the anoples, so anoples is abdomen and the wings it upward. And if you see the resting position of the Aedes, so the wings is in upper, but the abdomen it is a little bit downward. So there is little difficult to differentiate between Culex and Aedes initially, but when you have experience, so you can from the resting position, then you can very easily identify the mosquitoes. So these three genera are very important, and most of the human diseases, they are transmitted by these three genera. Now, which diseases are transmitted by these species. So first you can see the Culex. It is transmitting encephalitis and viruses, West Nile, Sutuvirus, Japanese encephalitis, and no please is malaria and filariasis. And the Aedes, the most important mosquito is Aedes. It is transmitted dengue, Zika, chikungunya, and yellow fever. And if you look at the structure, the malaria distribution, so it's almost available, transmitted, occurs throughout. This is, if you can see, this is India, and the yellow is Pakistan. Transmission in Pakistan, it occurs, but not in all parts. Some occasionally it occurs, but in India, the malaria transmission occurs throughout. In Africa, this is Africa, you can see the red lines, and it is occurring throughout Africa. And I think so. This is Indonesia. It's available. If you see the dengue factor, the dengue fever, the risk areas, this is high, middle, low. So the European countries and other, they are free, but you can see them in Pakistan, India, Thailand, and Cambodia, and Central Asia, and even in Indonesia, and almost all parts of Africa. Even this is in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, Oman, Yemen, and also in the American, some of the like Brazil, Uruguay, and you will find the dengue also there. So the Culex is transmitting the viruses, the Anopheles mainly for malaria. The third, the Aedes is transmitting a lot of viruses, that is dengue, Zika, and chikungunya and yellow fever viruses. When we talk about the habitat of the insects, so usually each genre like Culex, Anopheles, and Aedes, they have different habitat. Mean their interaction with the environment is different. What we call the, as we mentioned earlier, the ecology is different. The ecology is different. Like the Culex, it loves stagnant and polluted water. Mean you can see it some and the second is that the breeding site, it is in tanks, drains, polluted ponds, or artificial containers, and they are often Culex is found in high number in urban areas. And when we talk about Anopheles, so they prefer clean and oxygen rich water, and the breeding site are the rice fields, especially like you can see in Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Cambodia, stream edges, and temporary rain pools. And they like clean, well clean, clean water. And the mosquito typically avoid polluted water. So when we check the Culex interaction with the environment, so they like stagnant and polluted, and mean uh, not clear water, but the Anopheles, they required clean, rich, oxygen-rich water. Especially in field rice, you can see that the water is there. And if we talk about the Aedes is you can see the cleanest water that they can be, they like it. And like especially they like the water that are the breeding sites are artificial, we can sort the flower pots, buckets, water barrels. So and one of the important in areas is that their egg, they can survive for longer period, and they can remain inside and attached with the walls of the container. If you look at a kind of house I mentioned there, so, can you see the house like this one? There's a lot of things, but people become unnoticed, and they are not take caring of this. This is a kind of house. So there is so many places for mosquito breeding. Number one, there is a container. There will be this is very good because the culex will be prefer this area because it is a garbage, and there will be, if there is some polluted water, so culex preferably. And there is you can see some a clear water for plants and pots. So this area will be probably liked by the IDs. Some of the anoples will prefer this area. There is a dog, small food, and if there is some water, so they'll prefer. So in our home, there is many places where the different species they prefer to lay the eggs. So in the vector control, usually we educate them that your backyard is a kind of source for mosquito breeding. So if you are starting a strategy for the control of mosquitoes, so you have to educate the people is this is a kind of important that the people must know that where the mosquito can breed and how we can avoid them. For example, if there is no water in all these containers, so there will be no breeding and there will be no mosquitoes, and there will be very less chances of the mosquito breeding and the insect vector diseases spread in the area. So usually in the vector control, you should educate the people about the insect behavior, the habitat, and how they can play a role in the breeding control, in the management of the different species or different strategy. How can they have? And it should be done on community basis. If I'm doing and my neighbor is not doing this, so it will not work. You have to involve the whole community for the control of. Another thing is that how the mosquitoes they can detect the human being, how the mosquito seek their host. So usually they can detect from CO2, mean the carbon dioxide. When we breathe, so we release the CO2, and the mosquito can detect a human being from more than 10 meters regard on their CO2 emissions. And from their body's heat or from the smell, it can from there is also smell involved. Some people have body smells, so the smells is also important. And the heat that is less the heat or the body heat or visual, it is less than 5 meters. So the mosquitoes, they can detect human being if there is no light, if there is dark. So we breathe, we release the carbon dioxide. And when we release the carbon dioxide, so the saturation or the amount of carbon dioxide near our body is increased, and the mosquito they can detect from more than 10 meters, and then they come to the concentration where the concentration of the carbon dioxide is high, and then they can uh, sting you, and then they can feed on your blood. The second is the body heat. The a human being have a body temperature, and they can also detect the body smells from the human being, and sometimes even through visual. But the visual, they have not too much higher visual like 10 meters. They have very less than 5 meters through visual they can. So these are the strategies that the mosquito can detect their host, whether it is human being, whether it is animals. They can detect mostly by the carbon dioxide. Almost 90% of the cases they can detect by the release of the carbon dioxide, CO2 detections. Now we will come towards one of the important vector disease, that is malaria. As I mentioned earlier, the malaria is caused by the plasmodium, and they spread by anopheles and caused by plasmodium. And there is 282 million cases has been recorded by the world, and it lead to 610 deaths. Mean That's why it is called the deadliest organism or animal in the world. Like 6,000 and six ten thousand, almost 0.6 million people have been died because of the malaria, and mostly that is affected by mostly in African countries. In Asia, the death from malaria is very low, but in African countries, the malaria death is very high. What is malaria? They can call severe illness, and they can organ failure, death, and mostly their children and pregnant women, they are very sensitive. And as I mentioned earlier, that 90% of the malarial cases that has been reported in uh, uh, Africa. For example, now how the malaria is transmitted. First, you can see the mosquito stung the human being, and the infected mosquito bite a persons. So the plasmodium, it goes inside the infected liver, and it then multiplies in the infected blood cells. And again, the mosquito bite, and it remains inside the body for long, almost, it's say that 1 to 2 weeks it takes to multiply and infected in the blood cells. And then another healthy mosquito, if it infect, so it is also take that, and this is a kind of cycle. So this is a cycle. For example, an infected, it uh, bite the healthy, and it is again infected the liver blood cells, and then again another healthy mosquito, they become infected, and this is the malarial cycles. The second thing is the dengue cycles. The dengue cycle is the mosquito, as I mentioned, it is by Aedes albopictus and Aedes aegypti. So dengue is a viral borne disease, and it is by dengue 1 to 4 spread by Aedes mosquitoes. The symptoms of very high fever, they have body pain, headache, and some joint and muscle spasm. Uh, Approximately, it is considered that 50 to 100 million people, they are globally infected, but the death is very less as compared to malaria. In malaria, the 610,000 deaths, but here only 20,000 deaths. So the death ratio between the dengue and malaria is a significant difference. The death ratio of malaria is very high. As you can see, the mosquito, uninfected Aedes mosquito, and there is a dengue infected persons. So it is the mosquito become infected, and for the rest of the life, and it goes again, and when it bites again. One of the most important thing is that in Pakistan, we have seen that if somebody is infected with dengue, so they keep them under the what we call it, the insect net. They, you can call them bed nets or nets, because it can transmit the dengue virus to other or mosquitoes, and it can spread very quickly. For example, in Pakistan in 2010, this was basically the Aedes or the dengue. It comes from tires. Pakistan was importing tire from Egypt, and the infected virus, the infected, what we call it, the mosquitoes, the Aedes aegypti. It was transmitted from uh, uh, Egypt to Pakistan, and then in Pakistan it becomes spread in very quick way. And it is considered that in future the mosquito, especially the dengue, that will be another threat after the malaria. The third is I mentioned that the mosquito diseases, it has a lot of problem. It has a lot of problem. As I mentioned, 700 million people are infected annually, and there is 700,000 deaths. And the other is that 17% of all the infectious diseases, they are related to mosquito bite or mosquito linked diseases. And there is consider that a kind of 100 billion US dollar is spent on the management or the disease control or the people treating because of these mosquito diseases. Like for dengue, it is 39 to 40 billion. For malaria, it is 12 billion. For chikungunya, it is 8 billion. So look at how these tiny mosquitoes like the Anopheles, the Culex Anopheles, and the Aedes, they are infecting the economy of the poor countries. Is the infection is very high. Like in Africa, they don't have resources. Then the World Health Organization or the other countries, they help them. So, like $100 billion is a very huge amount, and especially for some of the we can call them the underdeveloped countries or developed countries or poor country. So, if you have a budget and most of the budget is taken by the disease management or by control mosquitoes, so you will not work on the development of the human. So this is the important thing, that it is not even infecting the human. It is have a burden on your economy and the lifestyle of the people. So you that is, the mosquito is not infecting you physically, but it can harm you economically, and it can harm you socially as well. So how there is a control strategies for mosquitoes, that how we can control the mosquitoes. So there is different strategies. Number one is chemical. The simple and the uh, easy way is the chemical spray on larvae and adults. That is larvae, people and adults. That is a common use. And second thing is the fumigation. As you can see, fumigation is everywhere, and government are spending a lot of the budget on spraying the larval oil. But you know, the chemical has a lot of impact on non-target organism like the birds, like other useful insects. It can also contaminate our environment. So chemical strategies has good but as well as some bad effect on our environment. The second strategy for mosquito is the personal protection. Personal protection PPEs, like you are using the net, you are using the repellent. There are different repellent you can put on your hands, your face, your body, and wearing a full clothes. That is another strategy. You can use that, and that is very good. But that is only for person and personals. The third one is the eliminating the breeding sites. As I mentioned earlier, that every household has a lot of breeding spots, and you have to educate the people that to eliminate the breeding size. So if you eliminate the breeding size, you are pressuring their population. If you control their population, so the disease management will be very easy, like breeding sites like pots, water buckets, old tires, AC trays, water tanks, clean water. So standing water, as I mentioned, every species had different. So like Culex is like dirty water. and no, please, ideas. They're like oxygen, fresh and clean water. So usually you have to take care of both to control the disease spread or the vector breeding. The third one is very important, that is biological. And now most of the people in the world, they are using these strategies. Number one is the mosquito fish, Gambosia, and it is widely used. As I mentioned that when you study the insect ecology and the insect behavior, and you I as I mentioned another thing, that is insect life stages. Like insect has four life stages: egg, larva, pupa, adult. So the larval and pupal stages, the two stages, larval and pupal stages, that are a weak stage of the mosquito, and you can easily control them. And the larva and pupa, they remain inside the water. So the mosquito fish, they you can use them, and they eat the mosquito larvae and pupae, and you can use them for the management of the mosquitoes inside different inside water reservoirs or water places. The second is the dragonflies or damsel flies. You can use that, and they also feed on uh, the insect larvae. Sorry, the mosquito larvae. The third is there is some bacterial larvicides, Bacillus thuringiensis, and they are attacking the larvae. Number fourth is the Wolbachia based control, and there is another sterile insect technique and genetically modified mosquitoes. So the last three, we will discuss each them in detail, as these are nowadays very common, and people are using Wolbachia, sterile SIT technique, and genetically modified mosquitoes. So what is Wolbachia? Wolbachia, it is a naturally bacteria. It is found in many insects. It is found in insect gut, and the scientists, they have taken from the insect gut. And when you infect the mosquitoes with Wolbachia, the bacteria interfere with the bacteria interfere with the virus replication inside the mosquito. What Wolbachia has doing? Wolbachia is doing that infected males plus uninfected females, so the egg will not hatch. But if there is infected males plus any male, so there will be viable offsprings. And Wolbachia is most importantly, it can cause the dengue reduction in 70 to 80%. Is very important for dengue control. And the other good thing is that it is a self-sustainable one. You started, it will the Wolbachia, that will be transferred to other offspring. Best for Aedes, best for Aedes, as I mentioned, Aedes genera. Now we can see there is a kind of uh, figure. This is female mosquito and this is male mosquito, and it is not Wolbachia infected. So the offspring don't carry Wolbachia. Okay, this is Wolbachia free. The red one is Wolbachia free, and the blue one is Wolbachia infected. So both are red. So the eggs are viable, and it will hatch and it will go forward. Okay, now if the male is infected and it met the queen, so they will lay eggs, but there will be cytoplasmic incompatibility, so the eggs will not hatch. So if there is infected male and it met with the normal or wild mosquito female, so the egg will not hatch. Wolbachia infected male met with the normal or wild mosquito female, so they will lay eggs, but the egg will not hatch because of the cytoplasmic incompatibility. The second thing is there is an infected female and there is not infected male. So the eggs, they will lay eggs and the eggs will carry the Wolbachia. That is a good thing. And if both are infected with the Wolbachia, the male is also infected and the female is also infected, so the offspring will carry Wolbachia. So in the last two cases, they will carry the Wolbachia, and as I mentioned earlier, that Wolbachia, it is very important for it replicate with the mosquitoes, and it interfere the replication of the viruses, dengue virus especially. But this Wolbachia control is good, but for Aedes mosquitoes. This is not working with the Anopheles mosquito, with the malaria, because the malarial mosquitoes, as I mentioned, their behavior is different. Their interaction, what we call the ecology, is different. So Anopheles mosquitoes are very hard to infect with the Wolbachia. You got it? I hope so you got it. The Wolbachia is good for Aedes. And if male is infected with Wolbachia, eggs will not hatch. If female, it will go with the egg. If both, it will go with the egg and with the offspring. Okay, I think so. It's very easy. But it will work again. I remember it. It will work only in Aedes, in dengue cases, not with the malaria cases. You should remember this. The second thing is the sterile insect techniques. Sterile is simply you can call it SIT, sterile insect technique. In this, the male become infertile. They treat with the rays, so their you can see the system of the reproduction or the multiplication, they become disturbed. So what sterile insect technique is a very good technique. You can use it by they initially they collect a large number of mosquitoes in the lab, then through radiations, through different radiation, they are sterilize them. And when the mosquito female, they met with the female, and then they lay eggs, so the eggs will be not viable and their reproduction will be not happening. And this is very environment friendly, and this is very best for malaria and both. So the Wolbachia is only for Aedes, but the sterile insect technique is working for both malaria and dengue. One of the most important study in the insect, that the female mosquito, they are mating with the male only once. So when you release too much male, they are sterile. So if the sterile, they met the male, so their reproduction system is gone, they will not reproduce. So let's see. For example, this is the mass rearing of the mosquito. And then we start radiation. We start radiation. There is almost 5, 6 steps. Number one, we rear the mosquitoes. The second thing is radiate. You radiate them, and the mosquito becomes sterilized. Sterilized, or you can call them unfertilized mosquitoes. And then you release to different mass rearing and then mass release. And then there is a wild female mosquito. They male with the sterile, they mate with the wild females. And as mentioned earlier, that the female mosquito will mate only once in their lives, like they don't mate again. So there will be no offspring, there will be no eggs, there will be eggs, but they will not fertile and it will not hatch. So this is another technique. But sterile insect technique is number one. It is related. It is costly. Number one, it is costly. You will need mass training of the male mosquitoes, only male. Number second is radiation. Number third is the release. So it is very good for, and some of the countries, I think so, Singapore and some of the Brazil, they are doing it. And this is very safe. But you have to one another disadvantage is you will release at different intervals. For example, if you release, as I mentioned, that the male will survive for 1 week to 10 days. So after each week you will have another release. Each week you have to release. That is important. This is the disadvantage of sterile insect technique, that you have to release it again and again. So this is the second, and it works both for Anopheles as well as for the dengue mosquitoes. And it can be used for malaria and both as well as. The third is the genetically modified mosquito. The genetically modified mosquito, they use the genetically engineer, and they either they reduce the population or reduce the disease. So they are using two, self-destruction or self-limiting gene, and the third is the spread. So usually in genetic mosquitoes, modified male pass on. There is a lethal gene. Lethal gene is that gene that usually, when it transfer to their offspring, to their young one, they will die before when they become the adult. So there is one technique called population suppression. It is self-limiting gene. The second is population replacement. The second technique is gene spread. Gene is introduced to make mosquito resistant to viruses. The traits spread to the population, they are spreading over the population, but the virus transmission become resistance. So usually in two techniques. Number one is self-limiting, and the other is the mosquito replacement or population replacement or gene spread technique. But again, this is a very expensive method, and especially for countries like Pakistan and Indonesia, it's not that much possible. Singapore is doing this. The I think Singapore, Hong Kong also started, and Brazil and some other countries, they have started using the genetically modified. We call them GM mosquitoes or genetically modified mosquitoes. All right. So up till now, if you have any questions, so we just finished our second part. And if you have any question, I think so. And if you want to take a small break for 1 or 2 or 5 minutes, want to take some water or want to discuss something, so I'm here. So there's a short break. You can ask any questions, and we can discuss anything. I'm here, and if there is anything, so you can ask. I think we have some questions.
Yes, from
Uh,
Jenusono, Professor. I want to ask, considering the impact of climate change on mosquito ecology and vector competence, do you think mosquitoes could potentially transmit emerging diseases that are not currently associated with them? What biological or environmental mechanism might contribute to this possibility? Do you get it?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
this is a very
Yeah.
good question. I think there was a big conference that the climate change is not only affecting the insect ecology, the vector competences, and nowadays the vector, the mosquito, they are also transmitting animal diseases to human beings as well. There is some cases in Malaysia, and I think so some being reported in Indonesia, that the mosquito has been transmitted diseases from monkeys and other animals to human beings. So this will definitely affect the transmission. And nowadays it is called zoonotic malaria. Zoonotic mean the animal malaria that has been transmitted to human beings. And there are other diseases that has been transmitted from animals to human beings, very, and their ratio is also increasing day by day. So the climate change will definitely favor them. And there is another approach nowadays. They are using one health approach. I think you people have heard that one health approach, ONE, one health approach. So that has been used, that now you will not using only human being, but you will also work on animals, because zoonotic diseases is also increasing. Zoonotic malaria. Yes, you can. So there is zoonotic malaria. There is so many cases of that have been reported. So this will favor, the climate change will definitely favor the vector instead of human being. Yes. Sorry. Is there any question?
There is a feedback from Ajeng. Is it clear? Or you wanna add something?
Yeah. Sorry. 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 Yes. Is there any? Uh, okay.
Uh,
Is there
there
any
is not
question? Oh, thank you
no
so much.
feedback,
Nimas, are
doctor.
you?
Yes.
Uh,
Maybe I can
I'm particularly.
summarize a question from Nismas, doctor. The
Mhm.
question is, in large-scale vector control intervention, such as page spraying or larvicide application, how do we determine the safe threshold to avoid disrupting food chains or harming non-target beneficial insects?
Okay. Let me check this question. I'm particular in explanation regarding dual role of insects. Within the one hand, you highlighted many insects play a crucial role are decomposing. Yes, natural habitat. On the other hand, species act as a disease vector. Okay. I would like to ask regarding the implementation of field intervention when conduct the last intervention requires specific disease and control, choose space or most sites, food chain collapse or disrupt ecosystem on. Yes, that is a very good question by her name is Aya Nimas.
Nimas, are
Nimas, this is
you?
very good question. This is very good question. Is I will give you one example of Pakistan. We started mosquito control, and they were spraying chemical spraying. There was larvicide spraying, and it has severely affected the honeybees. So then, when and then the people start the beekeepers in Pakistan. They started that they are infecting. They are the beneficial and insects are heavily infected by the control strategies of the vector. So then, when nowadays when we do the control strategy, initially we told them the beekeepers that tomorrow we will do some larvicide spray, some fumigations. So the control timing will be after Maghrib or before sunrise. So usually that in that area, in that time, the beneficial insects are not that much active, the bees, especially the honeybees. So yes, that are definitely infected. And there was another control, but we opposed that the aerial spray. Some of the control strategy. Some people mentioned the aerial spray, but we opposed them that you shouldn't aerial spray because it will affect the birds, the pollinators, the bees. Nowadays, the important thing is the biological, like I mentioned, the Wolbachia and some other bio like Bacillus. So that is very effective. That is species specific. Some biological agents are very species specific. But if you are doing chemical, it will definitely affect your beneficial insects. Not only insects, but your other birds, your other beneficial animals, like your what we call it. Uh, Goats, sheep, and other animals as well. Okay.
Okay, thank you, doctor. There is a feedback from Nimas Ayu.
Is there any question from? Let me check my because my mobile is I'm charging it because it's battery is showing. Okay, I hope so. You will
Um,
not mind it.
it's okay, Professor. There is no question, I think. Yeah, that's enough from Nimas Ayu, doctor. There is another question from Nadifa Dwi Ramadhani, doctor.
Yes. Which question? Which they are asking? Oh, yes.
Okay, you wanna read, or I will read it for you?
Thank you. My name is okay, Nadifa. Okay, modern technologies will become. Yes, such as maintaining. She is asking that there is modern technique like Wolbachia, GM, and other. But however, the success of vector control is still greatly depends on community behavior, such as maintaining environment, cleanness, breeding sites. In your opinion, which factor is more important in vector control? Modern technology and changes the behavior. I think the changes behavior is very, very important. I will mention in my next lecture the most challenging factor in any disease control. Any disease control is the human or the community behavior. For example, I will give you the example of what we call it in 2020. We have, I forgot, there was a human disease, corona. I hope you remember corona. So in Pakistan, people was not using the vaccine. They were saying this is for this will increase other benefit, it will have other. So the community was so much reluctant to vaccines, like community was not accepting it. There was religious, there was social, there was other factors, there were other rumors and other main um, strange things. For example, there was religious that it comes from non-Muslim countries, they are aiding fig or haram. So the there is haram ingredient, so people was not using it. The second thing, this is for this will remove what you call it, your ima, you will affect, you will not be good in salah and other many things. And the third was like the community, you will not be able to produce children, and there is so many ambiguous things. And because of that, people were very reluctant for vaccination. Why? Because they were not aware. So the community behavior, especially in the developing countries, is very important. Yes, you have modern technology, but you cannot implement any policy, any control strategy, especially for infectious diseases without community and community behavior. And still, it is one of the main challenges. I will have, I think, in my last slide, that community behavior is most challenging, and especially when you are working with the multi cultural, multi religious community. So it will be very difficult for you to talk to convince the people.
Yeah, thank you, Doctor. There is the same situation in Indonesia there about the rumors and COVID-19.
uh,
Nadif Ramadhani, there is a question. There is a question from Dr. Martini, Doctor.
yes, okay. uh,
Yeah.
okay, what Dr. Martini is asking,
Yeah, doctor.
uh,
Sorry.
to,
I
morphology of the mask.
uh, I thought I asked uh direct to you. I want to know
Yes,
about, yeah, and about the morphology of the vector. You know that the research, yeah, on transecting, what is
yes.
it? Yeah, transactions, what is the location? Yeah, location influence of the uh morphology of the mosquito. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
the morphology that has also impact the morphology. Simply, we call the physical shape of the insects. So they have also a positive and environment influence in the morphology. Yes, they are. We have studied so many insects that the environment is affecting them. Like we studied one bee, and the environment is influenced the morphology. Their behavior is also changing, the color, the structure, and the body shape is greatly affected. And morphology of mosquito may cause to be affected. Yes, they as I mentioned, that the environmental influence, they are improving the morphology, the behavior, and the reproduction. So it will definitely goes, the environmental influence will goes in favor of the mosquitoes in affecting the in transmitting the diseases. But as mentioned, there are some morphometric characters, but we haven't studied that too much, that how much it will have the impact on the color or how much it will impact on the body strength, we haven't done. But when we talk about the reproduction and the lifespan or the food searching, so environmental changes or environmental influence, they have positive impact on the reproduction, on the survival, and on the food search of the mosquitoes. I hope you got the answer, Martini, Dr. Martini.
Yeah, but I focus on morphology. Yeah, because
Yes,
I
yeah.
ever seen the the morphology of the mosquito in the lowland. Yeah, it is smaller,
Mhm.
smaller body
Yes.
than
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That's that.
yeah, and then
Yes,
yeah, that is my what is it, the
yes.
point that I
That
want
is
to know.
observation. Yes,
Ah,
yes. In the
how
lowland,
to,
yes, that is important.
yeah,
The size also matters. Like in
yeah.
cold areas, the size is a little bit smaller as compared to the warmer area. The size of the mosquito is, yes, there is a difference. There we have been reported that the size, the same species, the size or the development that has impact. As you mentioned, Dr. Martini, yes, they have impact on the morphology as well.
And how to measure of the body, doctor? Just by
Uh,
microscope, or maybe you have experience to, yeah, to comparing comparing of the body of the mosquito. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
that is usually some to confirm more. Usually, you can see the species. This is called, I forgot the exact word for that, but sometimes the species, same species, they have different
uh,
colors, they have different body shapes, and
uh,
sometimes the behavior is also different. But through experience, yes, you can get that this is, but most advanced or most accurate technique is the DNA. From DNA, you can
yeah,
confirm.
yeah.
Nowadays, it is very easy, and we have the
Mm,
genetic labs. So you just check the DNA if it is matching with the other. So we call them the. I forgot the this term. There is this a very good term. I forgot it. That the insect shape and morphology. I forgot that. Let me check it, then I will share with you that it has a
mm,
great impact. Yes, same species, color will be different, size will be different,
yeah.
and the behavior will be different. Yes, that has been reported in many insects, not even in mosquitoes, but in many insects.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I think yeah, it is very interesting research, yeah, to study
Yes.
about, yeah, the
Yeah, yeah,
influence of,
that's also very
yeah,
interesting. Okay, I
yeah.
think we
Okay,
should
thank
start
you.
the last part is here we will move for Jumma prayer as well. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yes, doctor. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So the third is the other vectors. But as I mentioned earlier, that I will not talk about the rodents and other mammals. I will, as I'm entomologist, so I will talk about the other insect vectors. The insect vector, they are also transmitting diseases other than mosquitoes. We have a lot of insects. They are transmitting highly dangerous diseases, and among them, the flies. There is sand flies, CC flies, black flies, and house flies, fleas, some lice, cockroaches, and ticks. So now we will go in details. This is okay. The transmission of diseases in other vector, it is mainly depend on two. We call them two types of vector. One is biological vector. Biological vector in which the pathogen develop inside the body of the insect and then it release to the host. And some is mechanical transfer, mechanical vectors, like they carries the germs like cockroaches, houseflies. So they are not actually acquiring that pathogen, but they just transfer from one place to another. So you should remember the biological vector. We can from now onward we will call it as biological vector or it is mechanical vector. I hope so. It will be clear. Okay. So CC fly, sand flies, they are biological vectors. They adopt the pathogen, and then when they bite human beings, they transfer the pathogen. But the housefly cockroaches, they took the germs with themselves, with the body, and then they transfer from one food resource to another, and the germs is they don't go inside the germs in flies and cockroaches. Okay. Now this is the most important insect that is called, we call them sand fly. It is very common in Pakistan. It is very similar to mosquito, but it has some differences. I will talk about that. This is from flies, different, same order, like, and it has, oh, sorry, hair body wing, they have almost 100 species, the 1,000 species. They are active at night. They are very active at night. The insect, they are active at night, we call them nocturnal. The insect, they are active at day, we call them diurnal. Day diurnal, active at night, nocturnal. They are found in warm places and some human like cracks, animal sheets, and this, and they are transmitting a disease that is called leishmaniasis. Leishmaniasis is very dangerous disease, and you can say the spot cannot go from the human body once they bite. And if you don't treat them, so it will start spreading, and it will spread, and the size will be increasing day by day. Usually in Pakistan, it is very common. Some poor sanitation, cracks, and animals, they are favoring this disease. So usually when they bite it, so they put injection inside the bite to stop the transmission. You can see the cycle, the life cycles. This is a female sandfly, and it can take the disease of leishmania. There is a host from they can adopt from these, and then they can transmit to a human being, and then again the blood meal that goes, and it's a kind of 5 6 stages. So leishmaniasis, it is very common in Pakistan and some South Asian countries. Leishmania is by sandflies, but it is in usually in warm places, and it remains in the humid, and it is active in the night. Some people you can call it misidentify this with the mosquitoes. So we call them, no, the sand flies, they are breeding inside the soils. They are silent biters, and they cause leishmaniasis. They are different. So the sand flies, they are breeding inside the soil. Mosquito is breeding inside the water. That is one difference. Second difference is that are silent biters. But mosquito, when you bite it, the bite is disturbing. You will start rashing. So mosquito bite is rashing. The third is that the mosquito body, they don't have hair. But if you see the sandfly, they have hairs on the on their way, and the wings is also little bit you can call them different shape from the mosquito. And mosquito can fly larger, but sand flies, they are not very, you can call them they're very weak flyers. So this is the difference. So sand fly in other vector, it called leishmaniasis. The disease is called leishmaniasis, and it is very common nowadays in Pakistan, Afghanistan, and India, and some part of Iran is also infected. The second thing is called another disease that is also by flies. We call them CC flies. The CC flies, the disease called sleep disease, because when this fly, they are sucking the blood from human being, and they are mainly found in sub-Saharan African. The size is just like brownish size, small, medium size, and they have 20-25 species. Why it is called sleep disease? Because when they bite and when you are not treated early, so the human being will sleep every time. They can go to coma, and they can there will be fewer of him. The sleep will be disturbed, mean too much sleepy. They call it sleepy disease. You every time the infected person will feel sleepy, and sometimes he can go to coma. There will be high fever, there will be headache, there will be joint pain, and there will be sleep disturbance, as I mentioned. Okay, the bites and infected human parasites develop inside the fly. This is biological vector. As I mentioned, this is biological. The CC fly, the sand fly, this is biological and transmitted to another host. You can check the cycle. This is uh, trypanosomiasis. We call it the African trypanosomiasis. This is the CC, and when it infect the human, bites, and when they bite and infect it, they got it, and then they again, this is the cycle. And the CC fly, this is very common in Africa. I think this is not very common in Pakistan or Asian countries, but it's usually in African countries. The third one is, this is called black fly. This is also biological transmission. The black fly, it is transmitting black liver diseases, and you will see a kind of worm inside the human eyes. So that's why it is called the and because of that, black fly in fact mean bite, you will get that larvae. And what happens that after sometimes you will lose the vision. So it is called river blindness disease. This is most common in river idle breeding grounds. And this is Simolium. Simolium is black flies. They transmit these black flies. They transmit these diseases, and it is in Africa and in some part of Brazil, Paraguay, and other American countries. 16 to 18 million they are infected, and they lost their vision. So it is mostly related to the vision. Now we will come to the river blindness disease. This is the black fly. That is insect takes a blood meal from a human. A pool of blood is pumped into fly. Okay, saliva passes into the pool and infected. This is a larva. There is a larva. It carries a larva, and it infected the human being. And what happens that the larva that enter the human skin through the host skin tissues, and then they migrate, and then they form noodles, and there is proliferation, new worms from new modules. Look and see, this is the worm is fine, then they reproduce, and then they again transmute it. So usually you will see the kind of worm inside the eyes. This can be controlled. Yes, this can be controlled by iver ivermectin. This is for reduce the larva. They kill the larva and reduce the symptoms, and you can control through black soldier fly population the vector control. That is also this disease can be easily controlled, but once it took long time, it's not treated on time, so it become very dangerous, and human being can lose their vision. The third is the house flies, the flies, and we call them mechanical transmission of diseases, and they can transmit the germs from their legs, mouth parts, body, and the diseases they are transmitting, like chloria, dysentery, typhoid fever. So it is, you can see that they carry the germs from one food or one source to another healthy or and then when the human eat that, so they become infected. Usually in our homes and the people they call it the cleanliness is very important. When you before eating, if you are eating anything, you should wash it, whether it's fruits, it's vegetable. So washing is important, and mechanically this can be very easily controlled. Houseflies are not that difficult to control. This is another main insect. We call them fleas, and they have 2,500 species. They are flightless. They cannot fly. The other insect we talk about them, they can fly, but this is the only insects they cannot fly, and they plug uh, plague or the Black Death. Why it is called the Black Death? Because when they are transmitted through the bites, and they become mean usually the the pathogens they are transferred by the bites or even from the feces of the this vector. They infect usually mammals and rodents. But when there is no mammals and rodents, so then they infect human bodies. And their they cause two types of diseases: plague, a flea-borne disease historically responsible for the black death, and the other one is typhus. So when you can see it has two, one we call it the plague has two infection. Like it is caused by bacteria. This is bacteria, and it is mean they have flu-like structures develop symptoms develop in 1 to 7 days, and they are not that much what we call it dangerous in early stages. But if it become the later stage, they become very dangerous, and you usually their death is more than 30% to 100%. Why it is called black death? Because of the lungs. They took everything from the lung, so the body of the human become blackish, and it is very difficult for them to what we call them breathe. So there is two types of plague. One is called bubonic and one is pneumonic. Bubonic, most common type, and the lymph nodes, it can be severe, but it bubonic cannot be, it is infected by the fleas, but bubonic cannot be transferred from one human being to another human being. So there is no human transmission. But when it become pneumonic, so that is the deadliest and the most rapid form of plague that occurs when it reaches to the lungs, and it becomes transmitted from person to person via droplets. So that is the important thing, that initially when it's the bubonic plague, so it is not transmitted, but when it's go to the pneumonic rapid form, so then it can be transmitted from one human being to another through droplets, just like we call the corona. You have to keep them is please fleas are as I mentioned, fleas are available on usually the people like dogs, cats, and other animals. So rodents, some mammals. So you have to keep them clean. You should treat your pets. And the second thing, vacuum. You should vacuum and avoid contact with the infested animals. So, for example, the people of like Indonesia, I don't know about that you have fleas or not, but fleas can be available in the you can call it in mean the some of the animals that can be domesticated, so it's also available in that. But initially it can be controlled, but if it goes little early later stages, so it become very chronic, and the disease become very dangerous. The third is the lice. There are two types of lice: body lice and human lice, and they can transmit typhus disease. In typhus epidemic typhus, there is strange fever, relapsing fever. So the head lice is not transmitting any diseases, but there is body louse. So the body louse, they are transmitting a lot of diseases. So they are epidemic type of strange fever, mean there is recurring bone pain and repeated episodes. So how you will prevent the lice? Regular bathing, washing your clothes, ironing your clothes. They can kill insecticide, permethrin you can use, and sanitation. You can control the lice. The other thing is cockroach. Cockroach has mechanical. They don't transmit biologically. It has 4,500 species. They took the pathogen on legs, body, and surface. They contaminate the food, utensils, and living areas, and they can transmit chloria, typhoid, food poisoning, E. coli. And the most important thing is you should clean the garbage, proper disposal, and cracks and idle places. The other insect, this is very important. This is ticks, and ticks is not considered as insect because insect must have three pair of legs, and it has three body parts: head, thorax, and abdomen. So ticks are not considered, but we call it comes under arthropod. So usually the etymology, they are it is very near to insects. So they call them considered as important vector. Tick-borne encephalitis can be babyosis, and that is the babyosis is very similar to malaria. The tick-borne encephalitis is a viral, and it is infecting the brain. And babyosis is similar to malaria. There is Rocky Mountain spotted fever here, and there is Lyme diseases. There is bull eye rush. So you can see sometimes there is bull eye rash. There will be joint, and why they are pathogen? They are feeding on animals, humans, and birds. There is 800 species, and they live and multiply inside the biological transmission. This has a biological transmission. The host, the paras, the what we call it, the pathogen, it transmit inside the body, and it passes when they start feeding through saliva. But the ticks, it is very common in cows, dogs, even in you can call them in some birds. Some birds they have, and it has two types. One is big, hard, and one is soft ticks. So ticks can be soft, and sometimes it's hard, but it is not considered as tick. As I mentioned, it has four pair of legs. It has 8 legs. Insect must have 6 legs. And so these are the diseases. As I mentioned, the tick-borne encephalitis, that is viral babyosis like protozoa, but it's very similar to malaria. The other last part of the lecture is now we are talking about the vector control strategy. The vector control strategy, how we can control the vector. So number one is environmental control. You have to eliminate the breeding and resting site, drain the water, proper disposal, waste disposal. Second is the chemical control, use of insecticide, acaricide, fogging, larvicide control, biological control like use of predators, parasite, like we call them Wolbachia, genetically modified sterile insect technique, the personal protection like bed nets, insecticide treated bed nets and repellents, protective cloths, public health measures like health education, as mentioned by one of the questions, that public health and awareness, early diagnostic, vaccines, if possible, surveillance is also important. So this is called the vector control strategy. There are different strategies like environment, chemical, biological, personal, and public. And when we combine all these control strategies, So we call them IVM, integrated vector management. So just combining all these methods is called the integrated vector control methods. So look at, see, this is a kind of pictures: integrated control, preventive, biological, physical, surveillance, public education, chemical control. So it's all when you control, when you use more than two through three methods. So it is called integrated vector management. In insects, it is called insect pest management, but in vector, we call them IVM, insect vector management. Now, as I mentioned, what are the key challenges in insect vector management IVM? Number one is the insecticide resistance. Vector mosquitoes like ticks and mosquitoes, they are developing, they are evolving insecticide resistant very quickly. They reduce the effectiveness of the insecticides. That is number one. Number second is the climate change. Is it is favoring expand vector habitat, warmer temperature and rainfall. They are expanding the vector habitat, vector survival into the new regions and seasons. Spreading is also increase, rapid spreading. And number third is the urbanization and poor sanitation. So we have vertical buildings and urbanization because in that there is poor sanitation, overcrowding, there is poor drainage and health hygiene, there is human behavior and compliance. That is most important, that there is a big problem, that human behavior and compliances. And the last thing is the limited resources. Some of the country, the operational cost, some of the countries, they are poor, they don't have the resources, they have limited resources, so they're spending on education development, but if there is any diseases, so they have then they ask for some loans, some other things. So these are the main challenges that has been recorded in control insect control strategies. Okay, now we will come to end of this presentation. So what we can take away from these presentations? Uh, as I mentioned, we divided the lecture in three main portions. So number one was insect ecology. So what is insect ecology? Mean the interaction of insects with its surrounding. It is insect ecology. It can be beneficial. It can be very harmful. And then we talk about mosquito. Mosquito is world deadliest animal, causing 700 people death annually. It has three important genera, Culex, and it is transmitting the Nile viruses, West Nile viruses, Anopheles for malaria, and Aedes for dengue, and Zika virus and chikungunya. How we can control its mosquitoes? We can control mosquitoes through chemical, personal protection, biological, like I mentioned, Wolbachia, or you can control by GM, sterile insect technique. And in other important vector, we discuss sand flies, black flies, CC flies, house flies, fleas, and ticks, because the other vectors, they can transmit the disease, biological vector they can be, or mechanical, like sandfly, they are transmitting leishmaniasis, cc fly trypanomasiasis, and black fly is liver blindness, and fleas are transmitting plaques, tricks are babiosis and Lyme diseases. So this was a kind of summary of all the lectures that we did in the last 2 hours, 120 minutes, I think so, 120 minutes lecture. Now the floor is open for questions. So we will have 10 to 20 minutes questions. You can ask the questions. And thank you so much for listening. It was a long lecture. I hope you enjoyed it and you have learned so many things. I will request Dr. Martini and the moderator to share the PowerPoint presentation with the students, with the participants. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor. I think there is no question from the students in the text chat box and their direct questions. So, yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Hussein Ali. Today's lecture has provided us with valuable knowledge on insect ecology, mosquito biology, disease factors, and control strategies. We have learned that insects can be both beneficial and harmful depending on their ecological roles and their involvement in disease transmission. Once again, we would like to thank Dr. Hussein Ali for the excellent presentation and for sharing his expertises with us. We also thank all participants for your active participation and enthusiasm throughout the session. Before we officially close today's program, we would like to have our second photo session. Okay, dear all participants, please turn on your cameras once again. Yeah, please turn on your camera. Yeah, so the operator, please help us take the documentation. Everyone, please smile. Yeah, I will count 1, 2, 3. Okay, once again, please smile with this style, maybe like that. Okay, with the fist. Okay,
This
go
one,
ahead.
yeah, this one will be good.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. Okay, dear student lecturer and all participants, we have now come to the end of today's summer course session. On behalf of the committee, we would like to express our deepest gratitude to our distinguished speaker, Dr. Hussein Ali, to the faculty leaders, lecturers, student participants, and everyone who has supported this event. We hope today's session will enrich our understanding of insect ecology, mosquitoes, other factors, and the importance of integrated factor management in protecting public health. Thank you very much for your participation. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone, and see you at the next academic event.
Terima kasih to everyone.
Yeah,
terima
terima
kasih.
kasih. Welcome, Doc. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank
See
you so much.
on
Thank you so
the
much for
next meeting or
and
the
hope to
other
see you soon. And it was a
event.
long lecture, but usually I have to give a smart lecture, so some of the students got bored. I hope you didn't got bored. So inshallah, see you soon. Maybe physically, inshallah, at university when
Yeah,
I visit
we
Indonesia, inshallah.
yeah.
And all the best. Have a good weekend and enjoy studying the public health. It's a very important topic. And thank you so much again. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Thank you so much,
Waalaikumsalam,
Doctor.
Dokter. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yeah. Thank you.